A common concern that parents have has to do with their children and food. It could be that children don't eat at meal times or children are picky eaters. Let's talk about this for just a little bit. I think that, first of all, we have to understand child development and recognize that a child's palate changes over a period of time. And so they may not find themselves wanting to taste all kinds of new things for a while. And so we need to know how to respond to that, because we want our children to be healthy. We want them to have a healthy diet. And I think that's a good goal. But let's talk about mealtimes, because mealtimes need to be this special time of relationship building. Mealtimes must be this place where we're sharing stories and connecting together. If you're not eating together, if you're just turning the TV on and making some food real quick to serve the kids something they want to eat, then we're missing the point. Eating together serves a very important purpose for building relationships and strengthening those relationships together. So we want to preserve that as we're trying to also balance things like healthy diet or manners or other things. So I would suggest let's start by making the meal times an attractive place, that we're turning the meal times into this relationship building experience. And the children, you might even say to children, go sit down for a moment, get ready, we're going to eat in a moment. And because when you come to this mealtime, I want you to be prepared with a story to tell or a question to ask or a joke or a riddle that you can share, because you want to contribute to the mealtime. So we're coming with this sense that the mealtime is nutritious for relationships, not just nutritious for the food that we're eating. Let's start with that and try to keep it that way, because I think more meals are ruined at the table than they are at the stove by an overemphasis on diet and manners. But what do we do with diet and manners? Let's talk about diet first. Diet is one of those things that's important, and I'm very health conscious myself. I really enjoy eating organic and eating healthy food. And I think that what we want to do with children is we want to provide for them healthy choices. And most children are going to eat 3 meals a day and 3 snacks. So at each one of those, we want to provide healthy options. We're not just providing cookies or chips. We're providing vegetables and fruits and other things that children can eat that are healthy. And if a child doesn't eat at a mealtime, we're not going to be upset about that. We're not going to say, okay, you don't eat this and you're going to save it for later. We're going to encourage them to eat it. If they don't eat it, then the next thing is a snack, and the snack is some vegetables. So they're getting a healthy diet because of the choices that are offered. Let's start there by offering healthy choices. Remember also, because the appetite that children have changes over their time, we have to be careful about trying to impose our desires for a healthy meal, every meal, to a child who's just doesn't have the hunger right now because they're not in a growth spurt. Some children can go with just a little bit of food for a long period of time until they hit that growth spurt, and then they want to eat a lot. So we have to be careful. We've got all kinds of eating issues in our society. So let's not overemphasize food by forcing kids to clean their plate, or you're going to eat this later if you don't eat it now. I just don't think that's a helpful way to handle it. Now, manners is another issue. I think sometimes children, by violating manners, end up being rude. And so I think we need to emphasize manners. And maybe we need to send a child away from the table because they are being just rude and disrespectful. But I think for the most part, we want that meal to be a healthy time of interaction. If we look at Acts 2:46, we're described the early church. It says this: every day they continued to meet together in the temple courts. They broke bread in their homes and ate together with glad and sincere hearts. The eating together strengthened their relationship. Someday we're going to have this wedding supper of the Lamb, we're told, in the future, and it's a time of relationships. That's what we're looking forward to. So be careful that you don't misuse meal times or turn them into a drudgery or not have them at all because they're just too much work. Meal times are valuable. They're a time for exchanging information, sharing and caring, and just building the relationships that we want with our kids.